So good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Paresh contacted me a few weeks back at an event and said, would you speak at the graduation for my public speaking class? I didn't ask him the age of the students. So I actually thought I was coming to speak to a group of adults, but this is 1,000 times better. 1,000 times better. As all of you know, I work with...
We have something for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
यहाँ पे आ जाओ बेटा. Come to the center. Yes, please. Good. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So, and I shouldn't say but. Yeah, I'm sure the kids have been
The
taught
children
that.
are counting.
I'm sure they've been taught. Very quickly. So, 2 from Sharon. And I don't remember the names, so we'll get those later. 2 from Sharon, 1 from Walpole, and 1 from North Attleboro, right?
Right.
That's awesome. The topics. The topics were, let's start with social media. So social media. So I am like a social media addict. And it's not a good thing. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn. I do them all. And I saw a great movie actually about a week ago called Selling Your Soul. Selling Your Soul. Celling. Selling your soul. You heard the term selling your soul to the devil? So selling, like cell phone, your soul. And it was about all the things that you spoke about. So that topic is out there. And actually I'm going to bring that movie to the high school next year to educate the students so that we can all have conversations about having contact in the way you spoke about and summarized. Because that is the most important kind of relationship, not the relationship that we tend to kind of do. So, very good speech. Bridges. Bridges. Great topic. I have a fear of bridges. Now, I'm sure we all have different kinds of fears. And I'll tell you the source of my fear. Growing up, we used to drive to, I grew up in Dallas, Texas. And growing up, we used to drive from Dallas, Texas to Florida to visit my grandparents. And one of the bridges that we had to drive over was the Tampa Bay Bridge. Tampa Bay is a big city in Florida. Well, for the adults in the room, you may recall that probably 30 years ago, a big boat hit one of the pillars, and the bridge collapsed. And many people lost their lives, unfortunately, in that incident. And nowadays, that bridge has long since been replaced. But knowing that we drove over that bridge on an annual basis to drive to Florida, I've had this subtle fear in the back of my head anytime I go over a bridge. And my stomach gets tense, and I've been over the bridges that you spoke about, the Golden Gate and the George Washington Bridge and the Tobin and the other ones around here. But every time I go over a bridge, I get a little tense because I'm nervous and I don't know the architectural structures like you do. And it sounds like you're into buildings and everything else, and you're going to be a rich man someday. Harry Potter. Harry Potter, that was you. So Harry Potter, great books. I read them all. No, actually I didn't read them all. I've seen most of the movies. I've read 2 or 3 of the books. But great set of books. I do need to see the rest and read the rest. Remind me a lot of college. Because, you know, the dorms that you spoke about. So, excellent books, and I enjoyed hearing your passion, and those are books that I think everybody should read. There's a lot of schools out there that actually ban those books from their school libraries. Yes, which I think is a crime. So you and I are on the same page. Those books should be in every school library. And I'm not sure, are they in your school library, your school?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Good. Then you have a good principal and a good librarian.
I'd like to ban the movies in my house, though.
You need to get them out?
No, I want to ban the movies in my house.
Doesn't sound like that's going to happen. And the last one was on, the last speech was on the PE and the recess. And I agree with you 100% that there should be all kinds of downtime in school. And because you do, as you said, 99% of the day you're being told, sit down, do your homework, be quiet, you know, all the things that are very difficult for young men and women growing up. And I'll tell you, when you get to the high school in a few years, one of the things you'll find is that we have this block during the day called Eagle Block that you use wisely, right?
Yes.
Every day? Walking through the hallways, getting your exercise.
I'm not that person.
So, but I don't mind that anyways. Even if it's some people do mind it. I think it's okay to get up and stretch a little bit, then get back to work. And back to PE, we're actually looking at, students usually take PE at the freshman and sophomore year only. And I think it's important, as you said, to do PE all the way through high school. And actually state law says you're supposed to do it all the way through high school. But schools kind of skirt the system because there's no rules about how much PE. They say you're supposed to do PE all 4 years, but they don't say how much. So the way we get around it is we take the whole class outside and we do a walk around the track, and we call that PE, which is not really PE. A lot of schools do that to get around they meet the intent, the letter of the law, but they don't meet the spirit of the law. So one of the things that I'm looking at to remedy that situation and to expand elective offerings in the PE program and recess program is changing our schedule a little bit. So in 2 years, we might be going from what's called a semester system to a trimester system and giving PE credit for playing sports too. So that's something I'm looking at, and by the time you get to the high school, you'll probably have PE for all 4 years options. Hopefully, cross my fingers, knock on wood, and that would be a good thing. So that was the first part of my speech. What I didn't do is ask at the beginning, can everybody hear me?
Yes, absolutely. No.
Am I loud enough?
Sure.
Yes.
It's a small room.
Yeah.
I get a lot of practice to speak to audiences. Normally not an audience like this. Usually I'm talking about rules, or I'm talking about things we're doing at the school, or I'm talking about to groups of parents about various things that are happening within the community and the school. So this is a special opportunity for me. I was excited to be here. So I didn't outline what I was going to do, as all of you expertly did. So the first part of my speech was to comment on each of your speeches. The second part of my speech will be a little bit about my day today. And then the third part, I will summarize why what I share in this part I think is important in terms of your public speaking class, which I think is great, because all of you, as this pledge rightly said, and I never took a class like this, and I wish I did, and you guys are that much further ahead in your life because you've taken a class like this. So I commend all of you for the time you've put in. So let me tell you a little bit about my day. All of you have principals, right? You have a principal? You have a principal? You have a principal?
Yeah.
You have a principal? You have a principal?
Yeah.
What does your principal do?
Runs the school.
Well, what does run the school mean?
Run around the school.
Run around the school? Okay. The young lady.
I think you learned the points.
I did. I'm trying.
Yeah.
So the young lady right here, good-looking young lady. What does your principal do?
She actually goes to every classroom.
She goes to every classroom. Every day?
Around the, yeah,
Okay.
running around.
Okay. What, give me something else one of your other principals does. What does your principal do, young man?
She doesn't usually walk around.
So you never see her?
Well, she stays in her office all the time.
Oh, man. You gotta talk to
Point
her.
taken.
Yeah. And what about your principal?
Sometimes.
Young lady.
Sometimes.
In the blue.
Sometimes he helps the secretary, and he mostly stays in his office, and he helps at lunch. Sometimes.
Okay.
He puts on like the cap and stuff, and just goes into lunch, and like he looks like a
That's
lunch
kind of
lady.
cool.
And he also recommended me to be a new secretary.
Nice. Okay. And what does your principal do?
She's a principal, and she
one thing she does?
She helps with the bus line. And
Okay.
She's really nice.
Good. That's good. And what about yours?
Well, I think he mostly stays in his office, but sometimes I see him around the school in different areas. And he's often stays in the cafeteria monitoring.
Okay. What does your principal do?
Oh,
He just seems like he sits in the office all day. I don't know.
Don't listen to him. That's not what we're talking about.
I think that grows your graduation.
Yeah, seriously.
You just
In all seriousness, let me tell you just a little bit, like 20 minutes, what happened today. So, and in this particular part of the day, I was in my office area. There was one secretary. Usually there are 1, 2, 3, 4 secretaries. It was just me and one secretary. And in a span of about 20 minutes, I'm going to give you a little rundown of the things that happen. And I'm going to use my little note card here. No, actually, I'm not. You guys didn't use it, so I'm not going to use it. So, if I had a podium, I might have. You know, but no podium. So, you guys set the bar, so I'm going to try to meet the bar, okay? So, in this 20 minutes, we had, and this is just in 20 minutes, a kid barfed all over the office floor. We had to get that cleaned up. We had to call an ambulance because a student was having an emergency in the nurse's office, and we had to get the fire department to the school and get the student so that he could be checked out and okayed. I had 2 students come and ask me they wanted me to support their recycling program that they wanted to institute around the school. I had a teacher who wanted to tell me a story about what was happening in her classroom. I wrote back to the visiting the classrooms. When I visit classrooms, I'll give the teachers feedback. So I wrote a little piece to the teacher about what I had seen in her class a couple days ago. You may have seen the news about all the bomb threats that have been happening all over the state. I wrote an email to the staff about how we would respond in such a circumstance and the things that are in place to address these kinds of things. And we had a call came in to, this is as the appendicitis is happening, the appendicitis emergency is happening. As the student is throwing up in the office, we also got a call from another side of the building that they needed a wheelchair. This is all happening in the span of like literally 15 minutes, and those 3 emergencies all happened like at the same time. With one secretary and the nurses down the hall screaming and yelling, and I'm like, we got to do this, we got to do that, call the fire department and get a nurse. It was crazy. So that was like 20 minutes in the day, and the reason I wanted to tell you that, and now I'll get into my summary, is that just that little bit, hopefully it entertained you a little bit, gave you a little sense of what I do. And, the stories you told were all something that you're passionate about. You're passionate about bridges, you're passionate about, give me a second, don't tell me social media. You're passionate about Harry Potter, and you're passionate about recess. I'm passionate about the job I do. And when it comes to public speaking, anything you're passionate about, you can deliver it. And get up in front of any audience, whether it's 20 people or 500 people. If you're happy about it and you're excited about it, you can talk about it, and everyone in the audience will respect you and be attentive to what you're sharing. And you guys, all 4 of you, did a fantastic job. You adhered to this little pledge that I'm sure you got on day 1 from Mr. Montewala. And all of you, when you go into your classes for the next 8-9 years and beyond, you guys are going to have that skill and have that confidence to go up and do the things you need to do to be successful. And that's going to carry you even past school into your jobs and your careers and your relationships with other people. So, good job. Congratulations. I wish you all well in the future. The 2 of you who are coming to Sharon, I think it was you and you. I look forward to seeing you guys in a few years. you and I will talk tomorrow about your what was supposed to be your graduation in a couple of years. And Mr. Motawala, thank you for inviting me here tonight. And
but you are not yet done though, because you have to give out the certificates.
I'm happy to.
Sure.
That'd be great. It'd be an honor.
Let's do